Hey guys, it's Missy Wolf, and I'm here with Rachele Lynae.
Hey everybody.
So, my dear, you have got a lot going on. You're super, super busy, and I have a ton to talk to you about. So I hope you have a little bit of time.
Oh, for you, of course.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. First of all, I want to talk about, just your journey and where you came from first. You grew up in Alaska. What was that like?
For me, it was completely normal. Everybody's so fascinated with Alaska. It's so funny when you've actually grown up there, and it's that was normal. It was a really good place as like a naturally creative kid to be inspired, because there was just a lot of wildlife and just the great outdoors was truly the great outdoors. It's just some of the most rugged, beautiful land that you can really be on, in my opinion.
Right.
And also I lived on an island, so the ocean was just it's like in my blood now. I just love the ocean, so it was a really good place, like I said, for a creative kid to grow up and have that creativity nurtured.
Absolutely. Now, you started writing music when you were 12 years old, right?
Yes.
Okay. Now, how was that for your family? Did they support you in that? Did they try to sidetrack you at all? Because, nowadays, you see it all the time. Kids want to be creative. They want to be in the arts. And then, it's like, no, focus on this, education and this and this and this and this. So did you find that you were supported?
I was. I'm really lucky. I have a really supportive family. My parents, I don't know if they really knew what to do with me, but they did support me.
Right. Right.
So, when I was a little kid, my dad always, he played and plays acoustic guitar, and we, get the guitar out and he'd play and sing after dinner, and I'd beg to learn the guitar, and my parents were very, they were focused on education, but also on music education, because they knew that I loved that. So their thing was, okay, well, since you love guitar so much, here's the deal. You got to learn how to read music. You got to learn how to play the piano, and then you can really dig into the guitar, because once you know how to read music, then you can learn the guitar. So they just were always very, they were very supportive. I think that if I had it to do over, I would start on guitar when I was about, 4. But other than that.
That's funny. I have a 4-year-old, and he so wants to play the drums, and then there's that part of me that's like, the drums? Really? I don't know if I can do it.
You like of all the instruments?
But you know what? I know. And, I know I need to just let him create and, whatever. And so he turns all of his toys that he can into drums, and he makes all these different sounds. So I get it, and that's awesome. I love hearing that, you were so inspired at such a young age to do this. And then, you start touring at 17 years old. What is that like? Most people at 17 years old are going to school, they're going, having fun, hanging out with their friends, and you're touring. So how was that?
Yeah, well, I did go to school. I also did take, do some side trips that people weren't usually doing at that time. And I actually started doing my professional shows when I was, I think I was 16.
Oh, wow.
I have to, who would really be able to answer that better would be my mom. It was different because, I did have peers that were like, where are you all summer?
Right.
But it was a dream for me. There's nothing else really that I would rather have been doing. That's always been my passion and my drive. So
absolutely. Now we have a connection, you and I, to YUBA City, and I'm not sure. I wasn't sure if you knew who that was or not. Are you familiar? Do you know who I'm talking about?
No, I don't know who our connection is, but obviously I know YUBA City. I was born there.
Right. Well, my cousin Sue Watt lives there and was telling me that I absolutely had to talk to you, had to find you. So
oh my God.
Yeah. So I know that I know that she wanted me to tell you hello. So I'm doing that.
Aww.
But so okay. But you there is so much to you. When I was reading your bio, I was really impressed with some things that I actually pictured you saying these things. But one of them was in your bio, you said that you embraced your imperfections, things that happened on stage that were out of your control or whatever. And I always tell people that all the time. The audience, number one, they don't know what you're planning on doing, or whoever it is,
right.
whether it's the readers or the viewers or the listeners. They don't know what you're planning, so they don't know if you mess up when you mess up sometimes. So exactly. Reading that from you, I was like, that spoke to me, because I'm constantly saying that, but you have a fun story about that, so I wanted you to share that with everybody.
Oh goodness, I don't know what exact story you're speaking to, because there's, honestly, there have been so many times when something happens on stage that you're like, oh man, this could totally,
right.
a split second of like, that's not what was supposed to happen. But
right.
sometimes it turns into the most fun moment that you could have asked for, and so.
Right.
I mean, I'm not sure what exact story
it was your microphone incident where it just sort of decided to fall apart into pieces.
Oh gosh, actually, you know what? I've had a microphone fall apart on me at a couple of different shows. And
oh gosh.
And you know what? It ends up being funny. If there's anybody, in the crowd that is kind of, for whatever reason, they're, thinking about all their things that's been going on. They're maybe not completely tuned in yet. You might have someone that's just had a long week. There's something else they're thinking about. They're not ready to completely relax and let go yet. But when you have those moments where something crazy happens that's like hilarious like that, then those people are able to actually like take a deep breath and like release that air out of everything and just like laugh. Like it's, we're here as entertainers to entertain and to, to kind of help everybody, get through whatever it is they're dealing with. So those moments are really gold little nuggets that like, make it even better.
Exactly. And, you have a really great approach to everything in terms of your music. And in fact, your approach to writing songs I found pretty fascinating. And it was just, I loved it. You have an influence, a Shania Twain influence, where I think that's great. And we all loved Shania in the 90s, Country Man. She was just on top. But how you approached the song Quicksand, which is your new single, and the song that we're actually we're going to be focused on today. But I read that you also were playing with tones from Adele, and to me, when I listen to it, I also hear, and I don't know if you picked up on this or you had this intention at all, but to me it sounded like there was some Carrie Underwood mixed in as well. It was like I could just picture all three of those ladies combined into one for this amazing song, and it's spectacular. I love it. And so I want to know, like, what made you approach the song that way?
Well, first of all, thank you. I love that you love it so much. We were just looking for something fresh, and we were thinking, okay, we want to write something maybe a little out of the ordinary. And we were talking about, something I had been thinking about going into that write was just like, just sometimes you have to think of new ways to be inspired. That's okay. How can I approach this song differently than I've approached the last 10 songs I've written? You know what I mean? Because you just want to always, you need something different. So one of the things that I've been thinking about going into that write was, what if Adele wrote a country song?
Right.
And just thinking, just as like something to play with, like what would that be like? There'd be ooze in it. There'd be, what elements would that include? Rhythm wise, what kind of what kind of synth would be added in, maybe, what kind of programming would be put in it? There's even a lick in Quicksand that, and I didn't even come up with this one, but DJ Sinister and Charlie T came up with it, but it's like, it sounds almost like it's from Toxic,
Right.
By Britney Spears, so like, I think it's just a matter of allowing other artists to inspire you, and then take all that inspiration and make something new.
No, and it's great, and I think it's really, really it's just very interesting how you've been able to do all of this. And for, somebody like me who I love to pick things apart and I love to get inside people's heads. So I love to hear what goes on in the background. And then, finding out that you're working on every aspect of your music. So you're producing. And I know that you've worked, with Jamie O'Neill, who, gosh, she's very well known in the country music world. And so what has that been like, that whole aspect of your music making?
It's been, it's been a huge part of it. Jamie and I really hit it off like from the beginning. When we first met, it was kind of like just an introductory, like, hey, maybe we should write together sometime. Right. Check out some of my music. I mean, I literally came over to her house because we got introduced through her dad, who Jimmy Murphy is his name, and he's been in the business for a long time. And he and I had met in Washington. I mean, it's crazy how things come together. But long story short, we hit it off immediately. And I showed up with just me and my guitar at her house the first time we actually got that one-on-one time, and we were already like really just seeing things very the same way musically and excited about the direction that I was going. And of course, since then we've both there's been a lot of evolving. But working with Jamie has really, she's taught me a lot on so many different fronts. It's like as a singer, you can't really beat Jamie. She's amazing. I've heard her on her on stage. She's still amazing no matter what day it is. I've learned a lot from her vocally, and a lot of she's really taught me to kind of be fearless vocally. There have been moments when we've been in the studio and she'll say, well, I'll try something kind of like this. I'm like, Jamie, that's not like even in my range. And she'll be like, yeah, it is. Go.
That's funny.
Like, press record. I'll be like, okay. and sure enough, they usually, I found that there were not I didn't have some of the limits I thought I did, and so that's been something I've learned with her. And alongside of that, I've watched how she was as a producer before I was still producing alongside of her, and I watched the different calls that she made and how she made them, and kind of got to talk with her about her thinking process through that, and kind of gained the confidence and the knowledge to be able to start co-producing, and so I hope to someday also feel ready. I don't feel like I'm quite ready to solo produce yet.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm getting closer and closer, but working with someone like that, it really helps you to grow and come into that point.
Absolutely, and that's the other thing in your bio that I actually wanted to touch on was you had put a statement in there that you're growing and evolving, and what really so is your music. It is, and it's great, and I'm very excited, and I know that with your new single Quicksand, you also, I mean, you've been a part of CMT, they're releasing it, and you're doing all of these great, wonderful things. Tomorrow night you're playing at the Hard Rock, on the January 21st, because this is airing. So you're going to be doing the industry showcase for In Tune, and I know that Center Stage is going to be there filming you. But this is just, this video is great, and there is somebody extremely familiar in your video, and I know who it is, but I want you to tell everybody who that really awesome person is.
Well, I think you're referring to Spencer Lloyd. He did such a killer job in the video. But I think many people will recognize him from American Idol. He did fairly well on the show, and he's just, he was just such a great choice for the role, because I mean, come on, he's cutie, all the girls are going to be watching the video,
right?
It's pretty fun. But so he did that, and he kind of had the whole like, oh yeah, I can play it smooth. I mean, it was great though, because when we were recording it, they'd be like, okay, give us like your like sexy looks or whatever, and like he'd like deliver the performance and then like be laughing afterwards. Like, this is
oh, that's great. I would have loved to have been like a fly on the wall on the set that day. That would have been awesome.
There was a lot of laughing and a lot of fun.
Well, the video itself is, to me, it was just so well done, and along with the lyrics and the story, it was amazing. So, did you have help coming up with the concept of that video, or was that, somebody else's pride and joy that they just came up with? I mean, it's really great. I love it.
Okay, this is going to get a little confusing just for a second as I explain this.
Okay, all right.
So there's Spencer Lloyd, who his face is in the video. Okay.
Okay.
And then there's Spencer Glover, who directed the video.
Okay.
Okay, so there were a lot of Spencers running around that day. So Spencer Glover, the director, and MC Potts, she was producer on the project. They came to me with this treatment, and I think they put a lot of, the way it works is you usually, as an artist, you go and you say, okay, this is kind of what I'm thinking, or hey, come up with whatever you want.
Right.
And we were kind of like, okay, tell us what you think. Listen to the song, tell us what you think. And they kind of came up with this, with a storyline. And then we sat down, we had coffee, and we're like, oh my gosh, I love this part. I love this part. Hey, what about for this part? We, and like one of the things, for me was, okay, why don't we make this more of like a girlfriend element? Like let's bring some of these girls in here, because that's what the song is really about. It's about like a girl telling another girl, like, sister, do not.
Right. Right.
Let me help you out here. This is about girls like being there for each other and being like, okay, like we know this is bad news, like so let me save you the heartache, And so we're like, okay, let's bring some more girls into this. And we originally, I'm trying to think. Originally, it wasn't a fair, and then that ended up kind of morphing into being a fairground, which ended up being absolutely unbelievable, and just like the colors and everything that Spencer, the director, was able to bring. I mean, I don't know about you, but I just loved the colors.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
it was great. It was great. And I don't want to spoil it for everybody, because they need to go watch the video, which I mean is good, especially if they have CMT, because it's going to be airing. What is it? Is it three times a day for the next 5 weeks? Is that what it is?
Oh yeah. Like they're really giving it a lot of love.
Oh, that's great. That's great. Yay, CMT. Thank you so much for supporting Rachele Lynae, because she is amazing. So we have to give them their shout out, because, I mean, up and coming artists, we need more promotion and everything. So that's great. We're so excited for you here. And I know tomorrow's going to be pretty big for you as well. And I can't wait to hear all about it and to see the footage. I'm sure it's going to be great. And before we go, I want to tell you that just my own personal little thing here is that I loved your video on your favorite 90s band that you recorded, and you had everybody answer who their favorite 90s band was. That was such a real moment, and it was fun, and it was cute, and everybody was happy and smiling, and it was like a little confession time. It was great. So, I know that you said it on the video, but can you tell us again who your favorite 90s bands were?
I'm trying to think who I said, because we all were like, so like spur of the moment. So
I'll give you a hint. It was a boy band.
I think I said NSYNC.
You did. You did.
That's probably my first go-to.
Right. Well, so I was going to throw mine in there. My little confession was New Kids on the Block and Color Me Bad. They were mine.
Awesome.
Yes. So, but I had so much fun watching. Everybody had great answers, and then the two, it was so much fun to watch you guys being you, and so.
I'm going to add a little added confession to that.
Okay.
I recently listened to the entire that album that won all of our hearts. NSYNC on a road trip. I was like, yes, NSYNC has got to flow.
Absolutely. Oh, that's awesome. That is so great.
Anyway, sorry, go ahead.
No, it's great. I love it. I love that you can be you. And all I was going to say is I love that, you take the time to show your fans who you are. You're not Rachele Lynae, the, artist. You're a girl who's living out her dream and doing her job, but you're a real human being with real likes and real passions, and you want to have fun, and it comes across really well. And I just personally want to thank you for being real, because too oftentimes I think people get caught up in having their name so big that they forget who they are to the fans. So I want to thank you. You're welcome.
Thanks. I'll have to do, you got my brain flowing. I'm like, oh, I should do more fun videos like that. And you just put us on the spot more often.
Well, you know what? It really is just so much fun, especially like when you're having a bad day and you start flipping through, YouTube channels and videos, and you come across somebody just being themselves and having fun. It gives you that personal connection to them, and you're like, wow, that's really cool that they actually shared that with everybody. So that's why I wanted to say something about it. I just thought it was really great, and I wanted to give you some credit for that. And not enough people do it, but you are, and that's great. And do you have anything else coming up in 2016 that we need to know about? I mean, obviously your new single, the new video being premiered, that's really huge. Do you have a new tour coming up that you want to tell us about?
Goodness, they were just talking to me about some gigs that have come in for early summer, and I am going brain dead right now. But definitely keep up, with me, because as we get these things confirmed and as we get, some of our routing more confirmed, we'll get more stuff up on online. So it's always good to check back there, especially as we get closer to summer. Honestly, the biggest thing in my life is coming up is that I'm getting married. So I always get distracted when someone's like, what's the biggest thing?
Oh, wow, how awesome.
Yeah. But as far as music goes, I'm really excited because I feel like 2016 feels like a really creative year.
Mm-hmm.
There's something about it that just so far, for me and my team and even my girlfriends that are in the entertainment industry, we're all just really feeling especially creative. So I'm excited this year about, writing some really great music. I just can feel it coming,
Oh, so, that's great.
So keep an eye out for some new stuff,
Awesome. Well, we will make sure that we promote anything. So as soon as you let Center Stage know what you have coming up, what you have going on, we'll make sure we get it out there. You can always share it to our Facebook page and our Twitter. I can't believe I just said that. Our Twitter page. Oh my God, I'm going to edit that out. Tommy, you have to edit this out. Okay. So sometimes I forget to tell him. So that was funny. Anyway, so we will definitely keep you, on the, pages of our magazine, and we will make sure we're promoting anything that you have coming up. So just keep us informed, and, good luck tomorrow night. I am so excited. I wish I was going to be there, but I will at least get to see the footage and hear all about it afterwards. So have fun, and congratulations on all your success so far. And I cannot wait to see where 2016 actually, takes you.
Thank you so much. It's been a lot of fun.
No, thank you. And you have a good night. We'll talk to you soon.
All right. Bye, Missy.
Bye.